Today, there are 2 million descendants of French-Canadian immigrants living in New England. These are our stories. Welcome to the French-Canadian Legacy Podcast.
Venez tous jeunes filles et garçons, je vais vous raconter l'histoire de notre immigration ici au USA, de grands aventuriers, de pays étrangers.
Bonjour everyone, this is Melody with French Canadian News. We've got a lot of exciting things to cover today, so let's get into it. If you missed out on the Young Franco-American Summit, the presentations are available online for everyone to view. Special thanks to Daniel Moreau, who compiled the presentations to share. Next up, if you haven't heard the news, Dr. Patrick Lacroix was named as the new director of the Acadian Archives at the University of Maine at Fort Kent. Fully bilingual, Dr. Lacroix has lived and worked throughout New England, Quebec, and the Maritimes. Check out the article titled, UMFK Welcomes New Acadian Archives Director for more on this story. And congratulations, Patrick. Speaking of both these great guys, join Daniel Moreau for the first episode of his podcast Dawson Revisited titled From Farm to Mill with Dr. Patrick Lacroix. In this series, Moreau is speaking to the experts to go back through his Dawson project to have a better understanding of the history of New England mill cities. In this first episode, Dr. Patrick Lacroix, director of the Acadian Archives in Fort Kent and blogger behind Query the Past, speaks about the farm-to-mill life of French-Canadian immigrants of the early 19th and 20th centuries seeking work in the United States. Next up, Lacroix has also released a new book titled Tout serait possible pour nous, une histoire politique des Franco-Américains, 1874 to 1945. Everything would be possible for us, a political history of Franco-Americans, 1874 to 1945. This book, écrit en français, explores a little-known aspect of Franco-American communities, that of their political action. Attentive to the complexity of these communities and to local particularities, this study contributes to a greater understanding of the encounter between the French-Canadian universe in the United States and the institutions of the host society. The book is available now for pre-order. Next up, we have two new posts from Lacroix on his blog, Query the Past. These are a continuation of the French Canadians 100 Years Ago posts. Check out more news clippings featuring French Canadians throughout the year 1921, with French Canadians 100 Years Ago, May to August, and September to December. Congratulations to Red Beard's Kitchen on taking home the championship belt at the Poutine Fest Spooktacular 2021. Their poutine offered crispy fries smothered in gravy, cheese curds, and fried chicken. Red Beard's Kitchen now holds the title of the first back-to-back and 2 times Poutine Fest champion. Check out this Franco-American-owned business in Manchester, New Hampshire. And special thanks to the University of New Hampshire's French Club for their help at Poutine Fest. Moving on to podcasts, check out the latest episode of Franco-American Pathways, Episode 6, a conversation with Stephen Rial. Rial, a New England poet of Franco-American descent, just released his 5th poetry collection, Edgemere. Listen in about Rial's upbringing in Massachusetts, his relationship to his Franco-American heritage, and the themes of memory, identity, and selfhood in his poetry. And now on to events. On November 9th from 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m., join the Hancock Town Library for Pret-a-Parler. The Hancock Town Library French Conversation Group meets every second Tuesday of the month. The topic of the conversation changes every month. Contact the organizer at hlbickford, BICKFORD, @gmail.com for more information if you are interested in joining. On November 10th, from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., join the FAC in Manchester for Teen Pret-a-Parler. This French conversation group is for teens taking French at the middle school and high school levels, or who already speak French and are looking to practice with other French-speaking teens. Whether you are just starting out or have been learning French for a while, this is the place to practice in a relaxing and fun atmosphere. You can register your teen for these events through the FAC event page. On November 14th from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., join the Manchester FAC and friends in historic Berlin, New Hampshire for a special concert, Sounds of Quebec and Acadia with José Vachon. This event is sure to sell out fast, so buy your tickets as soon as possible. That's all I've got for you this time. Everything I've covered today will be linked in the French Canadian Legacy podcast episode description. Merci for listening.
Now, those who know me know I am a really big sports fan, as is Mike Campbell, the producer of this podcast. And the team that I spend the most time watching is definitely the Boston Red Sox. So I certainly have an appreciation for baseball. So, of course, when I learned that one of the best players of all time was a Franco-American from Woonsocket, Rhode Island, I knew he had to have an episode. So I reached out to Anne Conway at the Museum of Working Culture in Woonsocket, and she told me that if I wanted to talk about Napoleon Lajoie, I needed to speak with Dr. Gregory Rubano, the author. of the books In Ty Cobb's Shadow, the story of Napoleon Lajoie, baseball's first superstar, as well as the book Before the Babe, the Emperor. And I am thrilled to say that Greg is our guest this week.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So essentially what we do is every other week we play a full episode, and in the off week, it gives us, we do like a news segment of what's happening in the Franco-American world.
Oh, okay.
We do like a preview of the upcoming episode. We play a bonus question, which may or may not, sometimes has absolutely nothing at all to do with the topic of the conversation. But I mean, I guess just generally, you're obviously a giant Lajoie fan, but you're also, baseball historian. Who do you think, who in your opinion, is the most underrated player in the history of baseball?
Oh boy. It's strange to think that he's underrated, but when I saw Ken Griffey Jr. play,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
and when I saw, it brought back so many of those memories of Lajoie in the sense of the sweetness of the swing.
Yeah. I would say, how pretty was that swing?
Oh my God.
How fluid was that swing? Yeah.
Yeah. And those are exactly good words,
Yeah.
fluid and sweet. And I think especially when that stuff, you got hackers, you got overswingers, you got guys who fall to their knees when they're done. I mean, Lajoie would have been totally embarrassed ever have anything like that happen, to fall on your knees when you're swinging, to make it sound like you're grandstanding with your swing, So it wouldn't happen with him. And that was a respect for the game too. And I don't want to go into all that, but
Sure.
when you go back to Ken Griffey Jr., I know he got amazing Hall of Fame votes. Did
Sure.
he get the greatest up till? I'm not sure. And we know that certain Yankees shouldn't have gotten all those votes. The averages don't. Never mind.
I think I'm picking up
know
what you're
what I
putting
mean,
down
right?
there. Yeah, absolutely.
But and then the way his defense too. Just
Absolutely.
smoothest run. He was what was the thing? Lajoie was described as being a panther moving in the forest of the night. Now I don't know whether I want to have purple prose like that, because he laughed at it bringing it up, But that's what I thought about him. You just never. There was no churning. There wasn't any like excessive action. There wasn't like I'm just trying to grandstand in some way through my body features. So he would be the choice. It's a bad choice for unrecognized, because he's recognized.
Sure.
But I put him in the pantheon.
No,
way
that's
up.
awesome. Yeah. No, that's great. Would he be like did you get to see him play live, I guess?
Yeah.
You catch him in person? Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I saw him at Fenway, and I saw him at other places, and it just made you say there's a purity to the way he plays the game.
Sure.
It's sending that poetry of the swing, the balance, the whole sense of a natural. Again, I don't know what. Everybody would say he was a natural hitter. Okay.
Sure.
So I suppose anybody who has a sweet swing has to be a natural, and so did Lajoie. Okay, but the studied swing or the overkill swing is due to some scientific way to make yourself better. You need batting coaches, right? What the hell?
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's the answer to that one.
I like it.
Now our fathers look at us and sigh with despair, to think that everything they love we simply do not share. But the spirit never dies, our culture will survive. Each of us must choose how much to keep alive. Each of us must choose how much to keep alive.
Special thanks to Josie Vachon for providing the music. You can find more about her at josievachon.com. This podcast was produced and edited by Mike Campbell. If you have any questions or comments, please email us at fclpodcast@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at FCL Podcast for more information about the topics discussed. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes or wherever you listen to this episode.